Yo. Bit of a different video today. Gonna do like a top 2 to 3, maybe 4, depending on the category. Gods for each role in terms of who I recommend for a new player. Who I'd say is probably kind of a bit biased, as I said. They're kind of like my most favorite, or like my favorite gods as well. So it's not necessarily the best gods for the role in terms of like they're not pound per pound maybe the best characters, but they're good gods to learn to be able to give you a good like fundamental of the role. They're basically always good, balanced, or at least playable in the roles. As I said, depending on meta, depending on matchups, there's better gods. Like, I don't know, for example, as an ADC, you might want to pick somebody else into their ADC to counter them, or into their team to counter them, which I'll get onto when I get onto the gods. But I feel like these characters are always like pretty good. They're always safe. They're good. They're like quite simple to learn, but then they have a very high skill cap, or you can at least take it a bit higher in terms of skill cap. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Start with hunters. I'll do 2 hunters for each. 2 auto attack hunters, 2 ability based hunters. In terms of the auto attack based hunters, I'd go Hachiman as number 1 to learn. Again, pretty simple kit in terms of his 1's just a long range attack speed steroid, or a long range attack damage steroid. His 2's an attack speed buff and a AoE damage, and it's a nice circle, so it's easy to hit. His 3's dash keeps him safe, and his stuns. If you get, again, if as you start leveling up, as you start getting better at Hachiman, you can start comboing his ult to his dash and stuff, and you can start using his dash more aggressively to get stuns off. But his dash is a stun, and then his ult, you jump on a horse, makes you CC immune, takes you out of danger. It's a good escape. It does damage. If you hit them with it, it hits everyone in the range. It's just a good burst damage ult, good finisher if you're chasing someone down in a lane, unless you close the distance. As I said, it's just a good all-round kit. He's super easy to deal with in terms of his mana as well, because of his passive. It gives you MP5, more stacks you have. So it basically feels like you never run out of mana on Hachi. So especially with your starter item in lane, you can always kind of just have mana. But as I said, he's probably one of the best ADCs he has been for a while. His kit allows him to play safe if need be. It can bully the lane if you get ahead. He's good in late game team fights. He does a lot of damage, by support for his team with his 2 giving him attack speed, and the stun is helpful to get people out of the sticky situation sometimes and give you kill opportunities. As I said, yeah, he's just an all-round, probably perfect ADC, really. He has MP5, he's got attack speed from his passive too, and as I said on his 2, he fits into a crit build if that's good. He fits into an attack speed steroid build if that's good, because obviously with his 2. So, as I said, if you're going to learn any hunter in Smite, and you're going to start maining a hunter to try and get better at the game, Hachiman would definitely be number 1 in terms of auto attacks. And then the second I'd recommend is Rama. Again, same thing as Hachi in a way. Ram, super simple kit. His passive just lets him drop arrows essentially, which make him do more damage and slows. His 1 is the Astral Strike, which summons the actual arrows, pulls them out in front of him. That's his wave clear. It slows them if you hit them with it, and it does a bonus damage. These arrows then drop with your passive, and you can pick them up basically. Your whole kit is kind of centered around these arrows, because if you roll, your 3 will cripple based on if you have an arrow you can shoot in, it cripples. So that's your whole like wave clear. When you're trading with people, you want to use that. It's just easier to hit auto attacks. Partially why I'd recommend playing him if you're new to Smite as an ADC. You can just use that 1, use your 2 as a steroid, and just start shredding through people, and you can it's really easy to hit the autos because you're slowing them, and because your autos are bigger. As I said, your 2 attack speed buff, just a simple steroid, gives you a load of attack speed, 60% at max rank. And his role is one of the cleanest abilities to use in Smite, to be honest, in terms of escape. Whichever way you're moving, you roll. So it'll pop up on your screen, you can see the roll animation. If you're going backwards, you roll backwards. You can roll left sideways. It just gives you the most, it's like a really smooth, really easy ability to get used to and control. It lets you play aggro, lets you play safe. And as I said, it cripples. If you roll with an arrow, you can cripple then if you shoot down the ADC, which again is really good playing aggressive into the other ADC. Or if you're just trying to run away, you can roll, turn, cripple them with an auto, and then keep running. And they can't jump to follow you, assuming they don't have any ult or whatever, but you know what I mean. And then his ult takes him up into the sky, makes him CC immune when you click 4, and it takes you up in the sky, as I said, so it takes you out of damage. You can't get hit while you're up there. It's a good get, again, another good get out of jail free card in a way. You can pop up into your ult when the other ADC's ulting you or trying to CC you. Gotta be careful on landings. You do land in the same spot, which again can be difficult, but using the correct time and if you're patient with it, you can stay up there and wait for help. And then you have 3 shots while you're up there. Your first one's 70% damage, it says you. Second 85, and then the last one's 100, but they do get smaller as you shoot each one. But as I said, so again, that's almost, it can be used at the start of a fight to get people low, use people to finish people off. You can shoot to the steal camps. So overall, again, just a really safe. Sorry, let me just move something. Yeah, it's a really safe hunt there in terms of his kit. Again, suits every build always, essentially. Whatever build's better, it allows you to go. So you can go, as I said, attack speed, steroid, like unicorn build with a silver branch, or if crit's good, you can go into a crit build. He doesn't obviously work with ability-based builds, really, because he only has one, essentially, or one ability, essentially, which isn't an auto attack, which is ult. Does hit hard when you go full trans build mind, but, you know, it's not as good as the auto attack builds. But yeah, as I said, the same with the Ram. You can play passive, just clear the waves and get to late game and he'll farm. You can play him well, or you can play ahead of the bully and you can pressure out everyone, basically. He has really good delayed potential in team fights with his ult. Just take him up in the air, takes you out of combat, lets you do damage from above. And as I said, if you're patient with it, if you're getting a gank, say, you can just ult, wait for your team to rotate, do some damage, land. You can ult, and then, as I said, as you get better at Ram, you understand how to play him a bit more, where you can like pop under ult, pop back down straight away, to roll away, say, if need be, say, and they won't expect it, so waiting for the shots and stuff like that. But it gives you a lot of scope in terms of getting better at Smite. Them 2 hunters, I'd say, are basically always good. Sometimes borderline overpowered, especially Hachi has been for a while, but they, even after nerfs and stuff, they're always basically just A. Maybe, as I said, they can go higher, but they're never really worse than A. They're always just pretty good to play. As long as they don't receive any massive nerfs in this video, they'll be always pretty tidy. And then the ability-based hunters are Ula being the first one. So again, Ula, he's quite complicated in terms of he has a stance switch. He doesn't have a ult in theory like everyone else does. His 4 makes him switch stance between arrows and axes. So as you can see, he's on axes. But in arrow stance, his 1's a damage, a straight line damage ability. His 2 gives him attack speed. And then his 3 is another damage, a circle damage ability, AoE damage ability. And then I said his ult switches stance. And then bow stance, when he's in the bow stance, it gives him more power. And then in axe stance, it gives him lifesteal. And when he's in axe stance, his 1's a stun. So you throw an axe and it stuns them. It's just a damage straight line ability. The 2 gives you movement speed. So you just pop your 2 and you run faster. And you can pop your 2, run faster, switch back to the axe to the bow stance. And you still have the movement speed buff, which is good. And then in 3, in the axe stance, it's a leap. So just a simple circle leap. Let you go over walls. Again, simple in theory to be able to play. You go full ability based on him. Ability damage. As I said, simple to play, but hard to play well. Being a good Ula player, it is hard in terms of you being consistent, hitting axes, learning when to be aggressive, when to play safe, making sure you knock his zoned out of waves, because there is hunters better than him, so you just got to remember, you got to just keep using your 3 to get the waves, poking. You want to poke them out with your abilities and then full commit to leap on them, go for the stun, go for the kill. But once you hit that stun in mid-game, early to mid-game, you just one-shot the other person if they don't have beads. So there is that. He is like a mage in a way. That's why people play him mid. But yeah, as I said, simple god really in theory to play. Or to look at on paper. But in practice, he's fun. You always feel like you're clicking buttons with abilities. Because you always have them off cooldown. But the only problem is, as I said, he only really works with ability-based builds in this day and age in this meta. And he also uses a load of mana, so you need trans. And then the last ADC I'd recommend for an ability-based, if you need another one, is, I was torn between Neith and Chiron. I'd say Neith, just because she's my favorite hunter, I think, or at least one of them. Again, super simple super simple god to play. Your 1's a root and does damage. Your 2 basically puts an AoE circle on the floor, does damage, it heals you, and it gives you an attack speed buff. And it gives them a debuff, so it slows their attack speed. Your 3 is a backflip. Just make sure he goes backwards. You just aim it in front of you, does damage in front of you, and flips you backwards and takes you a little bit away, and it slows them. And your 3 drops a weave, which is your passive, a little circle on the floor, and then you can 1 that weave, so you can root that weave, spirit arrow the weave, and it'll AoE root rather than just in a straight line. It'll hit everyone in that circle. So yeah, and then her ult's probably the most complicated bit. Again, it maybe sound complicated, but it's super simple when you play her. And then your ult's a global damage stun, basically. You just sit in left lane if you're ADC or wherever lane, left or right lane. You can sit there, shoot World Weaver across the map. As long as no one blocks it, it'll hit the target. It's intended to. And it'll just do damage and stun them. As I said, again, another very simple god. Easier play in terms of playing her, just being able to hit her kit and hit her abilities. The only issue with Neith is that she can be very bad. She has been quite bad for a while, but in terms of a good entrance ADC, she's a good starter ADC to get to play. But yeah, the issue is your backflip, as you'll see as you get higher level, your backflip's super predictable and super easy to get counted off if you're not creative with it. So against an Ula, for example, you'll flip, he'll just wait for you to land the flip and axe you on landing and stuff like that. But I said, if you get creative with it, she can still be played at a high level. She's good in mid. And she's, as I said, she's just super safe. Got a lot of self-peel. She can't bully lanes out. Same thing as Ula, though. She is a bit capped into an ability-based build. Oh, big yawn. But she does work alright with the full attack speed build, but it's just not as good as the ability-based build. But yeah, that's what I'd say for ADCs. If anyone wants to see any tips or videos or gameplay breakdowns, let me know and I'll play the game. But as I said, for a first, if you're getting into ADCs, they're always just hunters who are good to get into and play. It's a good starting point, and you can learn how to play ADC from there. In terms of mages, these are a bit more varied in terms of where you can play. Mages can play ADC, mages can play solo, they can play jungle, they can play mid. So there's an ADC, or there's a mage basically for every role in a way. I'll start with ADC. If you're going to learn any mage in ADC, I won't give you too many options. There's only 4, basically. But I would just stick with Sol. She's simple to play, easy, can stomp lane, very strong. She never really goes terrible. My mage ADCs are bad. That she is bad, don't get me wrong, but she's not she can still do damage. I mean, and she's a bit safer than the others. I would say Freya or Kronos, but the issue with them is that you just can't get away if you're getting stomped. And when she's bad, she's really bad. Just a quick run through of her kit. Sol's passive basically builds up heat, and it gives you more basic attack speed, more attack power. When you're at full heat, essentially, you get more power, more attack speed. That's it. To build heat, you can use your abilities or hit auto attacks. Your 1 is a damage. It heals you 80% of your missing health over 5 seconds, and it builds the heat. Your 2, an AoE circle ability, shoots in a straight line and does damage and slows. They like double hits. So you hit them on impact, and then it rebounces and hits them again. And again, just damage and a slow. Your 3, kind of a complicated ability in a way, but it's simple. It gives you attack damage buff, gives you a movement speed buff, and then after a certain time, after 3 seconds, you go into your corporate form then, or you go into corporeal form, sorry, which is basically just a circle, and you're immune to damage, CC, you're immune to everything in that. So you use that when you're playing aggressive to run up to them, and then try and go into your 3, into the bubble, to avoid their damage back you. Or if you're using it as an escape, you get the attack speed, the movement speed buff, and then you go into corporeal form. So get away. And then your alt supernova is a damage, a knock up, and it just basically hits them, whichever way you aim it. So you can shoot it straight like that, and it'll hit in a straight line, or you can turn your mouse like I'm doing with my mouse now, and make it go hit like left, or hit the dead straight side by side on yourself, or however you want to use it. You'll understand when you play it, but Shrim's no ability videos really. But yeah, she got turned down. I said, good as ADC. She can be played mid. ADC, she's better though. And you just want to go like a lifesteal build on her, basically. Lifesteal and attack speed, and you just board the early game. She outpressures everyone early game. And then, yeah, she struggles a little bit in the late game. But I said, when mage ADCs are good, she slaps. She kills towers very quickly. Probably a bit, and her abilities slap as well. So, yeah, that's that for ADC. In terms of mid, I'd say go with Agni. Again, simple god in theory, but very high skill cap. Always balanced. He's never been below 80. He's always just there or thereabouts. Basically, the passive gets combustion. So basically, it'll just give you a little bit of damage per tick. Your 1 is the most complicated ability, really, And it's not complicated, but you know what I mean. In terms of his kit, it's the most intricate part of his kit. Basically, it's just a little flipping circle on the floor, which does no damage, doesn't really do anything on the floor. It's called Noxious Flames. It's just a mark on the floor, essentially. But if you hit your 2, your 3, or your ult in that one, and the enemies in, it'll stun them. So, and it'll obviously do explosion damage too. So, basically, you'll play Agni all around your 1. That's your CC, essentially. This is what you play in the game around. So you use your 2 as your wave clear. That's just damage in front of you, AoE damage. It doesn't hit that hard, but it's good. It's good ability. And you'd basically use your 2, then use your 1 straight after the 2 on them. And your 2 would then stun with the 1, if you see what I mean. So you 2, 1 instantly on them, and it'd hit them with a stun. Your Path of Flames, your 3 is your dash and escape. That's what keeps you super safe, keeps you out of danger. You can dash away and then put your 1 in the fire on the dash, and again, I'll stun them. You can dash aggressively in wave, and then stun the mage in mid off that, and then hit them with a 2, and you'll basically kill them. And then your 3 is your aim fire. That's your poke. It's always off cooldown, essentially. You essentially have 3 bombs, depending on what halos you have above your head. If you have full 3 halos above your head, you'll have the 3 bombs, but you can only have 2 sometimes, or 1. And it's basically just damage. It's a circle AoE damage, a range fire. And again, if you use your 4 and then put a 1 down, by the time the bomb lands, it'll land in your 1, which is a Noxious Fumes. It'll land in the fumes, and it'll stun them if they're in it. So, and you can use this from super far away, so you can basically stay a max distance from fights and just shoot bombs into the fight, stun, use your 2 when you're there low, dash through the fights. Full cooldown, your dash feels like it's always off cooldown. Again, just a super safe god to play. Very high skill cap to play as good as he can be, but simple enough to get into playing him and start understanding his kit. I'm not going to do another mage, probably, just because I feel like he's the best example. Maybe Discordia for an honorable mention in terms of who else to play to be good at. Again, I won't run through her abilities properly, but she's another god where you can play her very safe. She has a lot of poke. She's always there or thereabouts in the A tier. She's never really overpowered. She's never underpowered. Does a lot of damage with her 1, and her 2 has like a root, and it makes them hit each other. It's just, you just play safe. You got good poke. You got your escape with your 3, makes you invisible, and there's a dash. You can go over walls if it's a small wall. Your ult's pretty simple. Just hits them and does damage and makes them confused, I guess is the word. And then detonates. But yeah, as I said, just a simple god. Pretty easy to play. Always basically A tier. Never really overpowered or underpowered. So yeah, if you do get bored of Agni, then Discordia is another god that you get used to playing. But I'd probably say Agni's better. It's a better god to learn. But if you do get bored, then as I said, you can start branching out. They're just the safest ones. If you want to play people less safe, like the best mages would then be people like Morgan Le Fay, Merlin. Merlin is safe, but Merlin's intricate to play. Kukulkan. And then you go into the gods where they're pretty intricate to play, like Merlin, say. His kit's pretty simple, but knowing what stance to be in at the right time, knowing how to use his abilities, that's the intricate part of playing him. And then you have people like Persephone, same thing, managing their flowers, managing where they are, is the hardest thing to do. So yeah, and getting used to a 3, which is super clunky. So yeah, they're like the best mages, but as I said, stick with Agni if you're new and you want to learn how to play the game, or just get better at the game. I'd stay max, just get used. If you're a mid laner and you want to get higher ranks, play Agni every game. Just get awesome at Agni, and you can literally carry games as him. He does so much damage and has so much control that you'd be surprised. Honorable mention for the solo lane mages out there. Don't play them solo, but if you do, Tiamat and Zonqui probably your go-tos. Maybe Hell, and Hades, I guess, but just don't play solo mages, bro. Unless it's the meta, don't play it. They're just not good in solo. As I said, if you're doing it for some fun in casual conquest or something, and you want to just get good at one of the solo mages, then I'd say Tiamat is probably the best, but she's the hardest as well, and she has a terrible early game. If you want to just stomp lane, then go Hades. Insta clear the wave. You can go super tanky on him with his ult. You can go lifesteal and just has loads of sustain and damage. I mean, you basically don't really need tank items really, because your ult gives you so much protection, doesn't it? So yeah, just an honorable mention for them. Guardians, I'd say for support, if you're going to learn any, I'd be Kazembo. Again, always basically good. He's quite intricate in terms of what he does, but simple at the same time. His passive, like, I mean, it just gives you mitigation, essentially. It stacks up the last 30 seconds, and you get little buffs of mitigation. So yeah, check by RCC. His one is like Hui's one. If you don't know what Hui is, though, I guess you wouldn't know. But he basically throws a Nappa, or a Kappa, which is a little freaking version of him. It's a little baby turtle, essentially. He launches that. It can bounce off walls. You can hit triple bounces with it. In theory, it's straightforward. Just throw in a straight line to hit them. It slows them. But you can do more damage if you bounce it off a wall, say, and then it hits them. It'll do more damage. So you can get used to just throwing it, and then you can start getting better at using it then in terms of hitting triple bounces with it, or double bounces, which will do more damage. Sometimes though it's just better just to throw in a straight line and just get it slow. That's what you need, really. Your support at the end of the day. Your two, basically like a Shield of Thorns, which essentially just does damage back to themselves. If you pop your two, if they start hitting you with it, it just does more damage to themselves. It also does reduce the cooldown of your one, I think, of your three, sorry, if they hit you with your two on. So if you have your two active, it makes your three come up more sooner, sorry. And your three is your bigger CC, really. It's your push. It's always up. You basically dash forward. If you hit someone with it, you can turn like this and do like a 180, and you'll push them backwards. It does do damage. You're not really using it for that. You're mainly just using it to escape and initiate in fights. You can blink push people, or push people, use your one, use your two, and then you push us back up, push people again. You know what I mean? It's just a displacement ability, really. And then his ult is he jumps into his shell, starts spinning. He does damage per hit, gives you movement speed, makes you CC immune, and it knocks everyone up who gets hit by it. So it keeps proccing knockups on them. Which again, he's basically, Kazembo is basically the king of being annoying. Not King Kappa, he's fucking king of displacement and just be annoying. Just pushes people around. He controls team fights very well. Super tanky, hard to kill. Yeah, just if you're going to learn any Guardian, you're a support main, I'd say start with Kazembo. As I said, he's quite simple when you understand it. He's not the easiest Guardian by any means, but he's not the hardest either. And as I said, he's super good right now. He's always, again, basically 80. He's never really below that. And he's always just pretty safe Guardian to play. As your second Guardian, I'm torn between Ymir, Barkas, Athena, and Fafnir. It depends, really. I'd say what you'd prefer. If you want to play someone a bit safer, but someone you can get involved in the fights a bit more with, I'd go say Athena. You can ult the people. You have a global ult. You got a taunt, which is awesome. CC. Your dash takes you far, keeps you safe, slows them if you hit them. Your one your passive, sorry, makes you have a long range auto attack, which isn't that deep. It's okay. But your main build, you just dash taunting people. You do that on cooldown. Don't even bother dropping your 3 first either. I see so many supports doing that, and there's no point. In your head, you want to drop your 3 first before you taunt them, so you can get the double damage of the shield wall, so you basically drop minions around you, as it does damage. But if it blows up the second time, it does more damage. You get some Athenas get into like this weird mindset they have to use their 3 first, but don't. In high level gameplay, in ranked, if you're trying to help your team, you just want to dash taunt people or blink taunt people. Fuck the damage. Your team will do the damage. Then your support, worry about your ADC and mage doing the damage. That's your job, is just to provide CC, and you're just trying to taunt as often as possible. So don't be popping your 3 first. Just fucking taunt people. Otherwise, it's too predictable. You dash in. If you've already charged your dash, say you walk into a team fight, they're not expecting you to dash because they didn't hear you charge it, and you just dash in instantly and taunt. It's so hard to react to it. It's just beads every time. If you dash in 3, most people, especially as again higher ranks, will just leap out of it or just avoid it, or pre-beads, or pre-ult. So yeah, just get used to dash taunting. And then if you want to play someone a bit more aggro, I guess, or do more damage, I guess, is Barkas. Just flop on people, ult them. I'll let you experiment, but I'd probably say just stick to Kazembo and Athena at the start. I said even Athena's a bit more forgiving in terms of if you're not in team fights because you have to back, you got poked out, you're in the wrong side of the map, you can ult over. So she's a bit more forgiving in terms of your rotations. You don't have to be as on point to get good. And then in solo lane, I would say go Cthulhu or Sobek. both super safeguards in solo, do loads of damage, really good late game. Can bully team fights. Sobek, just again, kind of similar to Kazembo in a way, a lot of displacement. His pluck, move, just you basically a straight line ability, you fly forward, hit them, pull them, or pluck them, as should I say. Your 2's a knock up, your 3 is damage, and it does anti-heal, which is good in team fights, and your 4 just takes you underground, makes you CC immune, does damage on the pop-up, and you have damage mitigation in it, so it makes you tanky. But yeah, just as I said, super safe solo lane god. It's so hard to kill Sobek. And then late game, you're just playing, just to displace the enemy, provide an extra body, more CC for your team. And Cthulhu's similar. A lot of crowd control, a lot of space. So for spatial awareness? No. But he controls a lot of space, you get what I'm saying. His 2, the massive root, provides so much space control. You can just drop your 2 in the middle of a jungle corridor, and they either walk in there and get rooted, or they can't go through that path, basically, and they got to change their path, and which helps you funnel team fights into certain areas. Your 3 being a dash and a knockback too keeps you safe. Lets you play aggressively though, and hit people with a knockback. And then your ult takes you into the giant form, which again, you have a knock up, you have a heal, you have damage, it makes you tanky. So yeah, if you're going to play Cthulhu in solo, you'd be my go-to. If I was going to play any solo lane Guardian and learn how to play a Guardian in solo, it'd be Cthulhu first, then Sobek. Right, I should have done this in 2 videos. I'm already on 30 minutes. Maybe I will. Should I leave Warriors and Guardians out? Or should I just get them through? Nah, I'll get them through. Fuck it. Warriors. If you're going to solo lane as a warrior, first I'd say Wukong. Again, simple character, but always basically effective. You get your passive, basically get a buff when you're below 50% health. Gives you more power, more protections. Your 1 is your wave clear. So basically, your massive cudgel line ability just hits the minions. That's your wave clear. Does more damage to minions and jungle camps too. So as your wave clear. Your 2 is a slow around you in a circle. And so is their attack speed. Just again, your damage ability. Your 3 is your most intricate. If you use your 3, it's a straight line ability. Closest to you is a tiger stun. So if you don't put your mouse, say now you hold a year after you click 3 instead of year. You hold a year, it'll be a tiger stun. Middle is a bull. No. Fuck my chatting. Here is an ox, so you turn into an ox, you knock everyone up in your path. That's your, if there's a lot of people around you and they're trying to stop you running away, you use your ox, knock everyone up, and it's good in team fights to knock people up. Your middle bit is a tiger stun, so you use that to dash on people and stun them. It's only a single target though, rather than the ox's hits everyone out of the way. Your tiger stun just stuns them if you hit them, and it's, as I said, it's only a one person ability. You also are able to slow route to this effect in the eagle. And then, yeah, as I said, the eagle then is your furthest distance one. You hold it, gives you movement speed. It's the fastest one of the 3 forms. That's if you're going from base, say, or you're trying to escape. You know people are not already going to hit you and you're trying to run away. You can just jump into the eagle form and fly away. Yeah, super safe. And then you're out kind of like a jail-free card. You just pop it, you CC immune when you hit 4. You pop up into the cloud, you're immune to damage, and CC, obviously, you're immune, just completely invulnerable, and you're healing while you're up in your ult. And then you basically spawn a minion of yourself, essentially a duplicate of yourself that walks around hitting people. Can't use abilities or anything, but it's just good to pop up in your ult. It does damage, it just auto attacks, but still, it can proc damage, it can body block shots. People sometimes ult there on accident, not knowing that it's not you, that type of thing. So, yeah, Wukong, super safe solo lane character, good wave clear, hard to pressure out. He's good at playing it safe and playing a bully. Again, he can be OP, but he's never really underpowered. You can kind of go down a little, like 1 or 2 damage abilities help him clear the wave and being annoying. Because again, your whole job as a solo laner is to dive the backline. So you want to be as annoying to the backline as you can, which Wukong is. Max cooldown. You do a good amount of damage and can't even solo backliners. You got a lot of crowd control with your knock up, your stun, and as I said, because you got max CDR, you're gonna have them up all the time. You got slows, which are annoying. So as I said, if your basic whole job is just to be annoying, and then when you get low, you can just ult and then reset and do the same thing. So I'd say Wukong is the safest one to learn. I get good at, most fun character to play to learn. If you're new to the game or you're trying to grind ranked games, he can carry games on his own in ranked. he can provide a super lot of protection, and just as you get higher level, if you're a good Wukong player, he's really hard to deal with. And my other one would be Bellona. Again, without going too much into detail, her one's a dash and it provides block stance and put you into a sword and shield form, which lets you hit people, and it blocks auto attacks. You also have a slow on it, and it gives you faster attack speed. You'll understand what I mean when you play her. Your 2 is your wave clear. Basically, it's a bludgeon. You pop your 2, hits, spins around you, and hits everyone around you, and then hits in a straight line downwards in front of you, which does. And if you hit gods or anyone in the circle of bludgeon, you'll do more damage on the slam down. As I said, that's your wave clear. Then you'll have a hammer. So now your basic attacks will be AoE. So that, again, if you don't clear the wave with the bludgeon, you just hit the minions within and clear the wave. Your 3 is a disarm. It's basically a line whip. It hits if you hit them with it. It's a straight line ability. It'll disarm the enemy, whoever it is, ADC, whatever, and they can't auto attack you. It heals you as well with auto attacks, and it makes your attack speed faster. And you have a faster attack speed, like in terms of hit chain. You also have a little bit extended hit range, so it goes a little bit further than the others. So that's between your abilities. This is your wave clear, essentially, out of the 3 weapons you use. This is when you first start fighting an ADC. You'll whip them with a disarm, hit them with auto attacks to lifesteal off them. Then you'll dash in and hit the shield bash to slow them, and use your your sword and shield to hit them. Gives you faster attack speed, and it blocks auto attacks. And then as you start getting a little bit low, your scourge should be back off cooldown. You can whip them again, disarm them, and then start healing again. Bellona is, and then your ult, sorry, I didn't even mention your ult. Eels Rally is a AoE damage ult. You jump up in the air, land on an area. It gives a protection buff around you, a physical power buff around you, and a magical power buff around you. It's a stun if you hit them in the center, and it just does a lot of damage. So you want to fight in that in team fights, really. But Bellona's kit is just perfectly designed to fight ADCs and assassins in the backline, really, and mages. She's the most divey solo lane god, and she can 100% carry games on her own. She can destroy. If you get a lead on Bellona, she's so hard to deal with. She can pressure out every lane, and she just slaps. So yeah, super hard god to play against. Perfect for diving the backline and being like a solo laner. Honorable mentions, if you're going to play support warriors, I'd go Hercules or Horus. Both good support gods, a lot of crowd control. Horus a bit better with a knock up, a stun, a heal, move his whole team. But Hercules is a good aggro support player, god to play with his knock up and push back. And then finally to the assassins, I'll start with actual jungle. If you're going to play jungle, my first god to recommend would be Humbat. Again, similar to what I said about the ADCs and stuff, he can play from behind, he can play from ahead. He's always effective, essentially, because you're playing him for his ult, which I'll start with, which essentially drops a massive circle ability, which fears everyone in it. So your whole ganks in jungle and everything are you blink ulting people, fearing them. If they don't have beads, they just die with the damage from your ADC and yourself. You have a lot of chase on ability. You get blink on him, you can blink into fights and then use your 1 to leap after them. But your ult is such a good team fight ultimate. You get a perfect ult in team fight, you win the team fight. It's like a game-changing ult in terms of if it's used correctly. Your passive, after using ability, your next auto attack gets an increased damage buff. Your 1 is a leap, and it slows. So you want to blink ult, they use a bead or something and dash away. You leap after them, slows them on landing, and then just auto attack them down. Your 2 is basically an AoE damage ability. Slap, jumps up in the air, smashes down. Is immune to knockups when he channels that too, which is good to know. So when you're playing him, if someone tries knocking you up to interrupt that ability, you can't. That being said, is a corner ability as well. But yeah, that's being said, your whole ability, you're trying to auto attack cancel. So as a new player, you're not going to know that as much. But as you start, that's what I mean by Humbat as well. He's super simple to play. As I said, on paper, again, easy character. He's good from ahead. He's good from behind. He's basically always pretty strong. But as I said, as you start advancing in ranked, say, or as you start being a better player and also new with the game, you'll understand what I mean in terms of auto attack cancelling, where you're using ability and channel the next auto attack as soon as you're using the ability to hit straight away after it. So yeah, as I said, you'll just understand, and that'll be able to maximize your damage, and it'll like jump you in level of player, to be honest, especially on the god. And then your 3 you throw a monkey, you can teleport to the monkey. It bounces off person. It bounces off minions. It bounces off gods. And if you click 3 again, you can teleport to it after whichever hit it does. So it bounces 3 times. You can throw it, hit the first person, click 3 again, you'll teleport to them. If you let it hit twice again, say it hits another 2 gods, you can teleport to the last one it's hit. So yeah, super good for chase people down. It's good to be able to poke people if you don't want to teleport, or you might want to teleport in, auto attack, leap out, just to maximize damage. But yeah, as I said, super good god to play. And the next one's Thor. I'd probably say honorable mention. I'm not going to go into too much depth. I mean, you probably start playing Thor because he's the coolest god, the most well-known god. But again, similar to Bats, Thor's a bit harder in terms of especially being good at him, because you have to hit the double tap on your hammer. You basically throw a hammer out in a straight line, hits them on the way there, hits them on the way back. If you click 1 after throwing it, you can teleport to it. So your whole play, your whole like kit basically is around using that ability, using your Mjolnir's attunement. So you're going to be early game, you're throwing that, trying to double tap people. It does a load of damage to them because it does 200% damage on return. So you hit them on the way, it does damage, and on the way back it hits them again, but it's the 200% damage rather than the 100% damage. So you're hitting them for so much damage early game with that. That's your wave clear in mid when you go to mid after doing your jungle camps. That's your escape is the issue. This is why I said Thor's hard, because if you're not playing it right and you're using your 1 to poke, and then you get caught out and your 1's down, you have no escape. So you have to know when to use it, when to teleport in, actually hit the double tap and teleport to it, and then auto attack, and then use your 3. Like, it's a full combination of abilities and intricacies to play Thor well. As I said, on paper he's simple, but playing Thor well, like some of the best Thor players in Smite, like the guards when he used to play, or adapting. If you're going to play like some of the best players, you have to watch their videos to learn how to play them, and then you'll start picking up on things they do. I'm not bad at Thor. I'm nowhere near as good as them players, obviously, on Thor. I'm not a jungle main anymore. But yeah, that's how you play Thor, essentially. Your 2 is a wall, creates walls. If you can use that, you can save your teammates with walls, walling off areas. It blocks whole lanes of the jungle that people can't walk through. And it does damage now, and it's a stun. Your 3 is just an AoE blade storm, essentially. It hits people in the range, in a circle of range around you. And then your ult takes you up in the sky, CC immune, you click 4. Takes you up out of combat, and that's your whole gank, essentially. You go to Goal Fury area, ult the ADC. As you land from your ult, you throw your 1, you throw your 2. They should be stunned on the first hit of your 1. You hit your 2, which does damage and stuns them again. It lets you 1 come back and hit them on the way back, and then you 3 just finish them off. Essentially, is the combo, and that's an insta kill from any level, essentially, if they don't have beads. But yeah, it also gives you a buff after you land as well. It gives you more damage with your lightning. But yeah, that's the ability. It's semi-global too, so you can shoot that like a good distance. And it stuns, as I said, on landing. So use it as an escape, you can use it as a gank. It's a good secondary team fight out. So you let your team initiate, you out around the side. People start running away and doing stuff like that. You can help and chase down with it. Yeah, just super good god, but a lot harder to play well. He's easy to play, but to play to his full potential, probably one of the harder gods in Smite. If you're going to play any Assassin's support, go Socket or Ninja. A lot of CC, a lot of control. Really hard to kill in terms of Socket. Easy to get away on. As I said, a lot of control. A lot of anti-heal with Socket, or a lot of stuns and ults. Like your ult setup on Ninja is crazy. Burns beads every time you sash as well, because people are expecting the ult. And then if you're going to play mid or ADC on Assassins, for mid I'd say Set and maybe Cleo. And then ADC, again, Set and Mercury, I'd probably say. But don't be playing them ADC, bro. If you're new to Smite and you don't know how to play Set, he's probably top 5 hardest gods in Smite to play as effective as he can be. So he's definitely a god to learn. If you're going to learn how to play anyone, and you want to actually learn how to play a hard god, to min-max on Set is super hard. So yeah, you have to get good at Set before you start playing him in roles. But yeah, that's the overall video of what I think the top 2 to 3 gods are for each role. I went into so much detail, bro. This video was like 40 minutes. I was expecting like a 20-minute video. What am I doing? But anyway, anyone wants any reviews or gameplay videos on how to play the gods, then just let me know in the comments and I'll play. Thanks for watching, boys. Like and subscribe. Nice one. Peace.